Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, thank you for being here. Welcome to Reunite with Self. This is episode 18. I am so excited and grateful. So today our topic is not a light one for sure. It's 13 different narcissistic behavior in family. So today I'll be going through some of the examples that you might be experiencing, maybe a couple of them, maybe most of them, if not all of them, with different family members. You might experience with one family member, maybe a parent, maybe a lot of the things that I will be speaking about today. And if you are experiencing a completely different experience with someone that you know that has narcissistic behavior tendencies, please know that you are on the right track. I'm not giving all of there is a whole bunch of different spectrum of narcissistic behavior. What I have experienced and what I'm learning is that what I experienced in my life too, that there is when I think about all the different narcissistic tendencies and behavior, even just in my family, it's very different personalities, very different characters, very different lifestyles, very different, I don't want to say this, but very different weapons they have. They have a certain way of hurting you, making you feel not safe, making you feel not enough, not worthy, all of the stuff, all the different things that you might be experiencing. So I want to say, if you have a very different experience that I'm not mentioning in this podcast, please DM me. My Instagram is on the description. It's my brand Kevela. So you will be DMing me on my Instagram page, on my brand's page, Kevela. Please DM me there. It's KHEWELLA. And just tell me a little bit about your experience without, of course, sharing your name. Although if I might know you, I'm not going to share your name, but I'm going to do an episode just solely on your experience, what you might be experiencing, and to create clarity for you, and then what you can do about it, what you can actually do in that situation. And I would love to give you support and empowerment in there, because there is always something to do. There is always a way. There is always a solution. So a little bit behind the scenes, I am recording in a new place right now. I just moved, so you might be, I don't know if the mic is picking up on dogs barking or people playing music and hollering and partying. So I hope the mic is not picking up on all of that. I love hearing all of this right now, but I hope it's just my clear voice. So, as always, I want to begin by explaining a little bit about why I do this podcast and what I mean when I say narcissism. Narcissism is something that I have started truly learning a year and a half ago. I was really interested in it before because of my adult experience, of my adult relationships, in my friendships, in my romantic life, in even work, like in every area of my life. I was experiencing narcissistic behavior, but until a year and a half ago, I wasn't really aware of where it was truly coming from. So like I always say, if you experience any narcissistic behavior, they don't have to have a narcissistic personality disorder to really F up your life, and they don't have to. I mean, you can make a change right now, today, and this is why I'm doing this podcast, but the kind of influence someone has in your life, it does not depend on them having a narcissistic personality disorder per se. Like they can have narcissistic tendencies, and people who have narcissistic tendencies tend to behave in a narcissistic way based on certain areas of life and like on certain people. So they have certain people that they are narcissistic with in their lives, and they might be very different towards other family members. I cannot say they can be like 100% different, but if for example, they have a relationship not so close with someone, so the person is not exposed to them like a lot, they might have a different perception of the person because they tend to act differently. And we're going to walk through it today too, but what gets tricky is that one of the things that makes it tricky for you is that if you are a highly sensitive, empathetic, compassionate soul, first of all, it's very difficult for you to name someone in your family with narcissistic behavior, especially towards you. It's a journey, and this is why I do this podcast again, so to support you, to make it much easier for you, smoother for you, and give you the confirmations and give you all the support and guidance for you to make a huge shift in your life with the most loving heart. But what I want to say here is what gets tricky is that you might see this person who have hurt you a lot in your past. They might be a parent. They might be someone that you were raised by, or, like a grandmother, grandfather, mother, your dad, your mom. It can be like someone older than you. And of course, like then it becomes like anyone can have narcissistic behavior in your family, like people who are not that much older than you or even younger than you or same age. But what gets tricky is that the person with the narcissistic tendency might act so differently towards people that they just met, that they don't see that much. Like I call them like third party people. So they're not really in that really close circle, or even if they're like a close relative, like a blood relative, they might not be spending that much time with them. So, they're not giving them, they don't have any like work relationship. They don't have any, anything that they depend on for that other person. So it's not a very close, relationship. So it's like more surfacey. And when you witness the person with a narcissistic tendency, they might be acting very differently. And of course, these people, they're not evil. We're not naming anyone good or bad. I am never interested in this. Our conversation is never about that. Our conversation is not about whether they love you or not. I don't fucking care. I'm sorry. I might curse. I don't care if they love you or not. That's not our discussion here. So you don't get sidetracked, because these are the tricks that get you sidetracked, and you give up on creating clarity for yourself. So we're not doing that here. I thought about this today. Someone, like, the excuse is, oh, but they love you so much, because it was like I never had support from, I don't want to say never, but I didn't have any supports from, let's say, the non-narcissist in the family, the ones that were not maybe, acting in a narcissistic way towards me. But when I would explain to get some support, this person like said this, did this, like, this is how I feel, blah, blah, blah. Or I was like angry, frustrated, sad, disappointed, heartbroken, whatever. The answer is always two things. It's either they had a difficult childhood, which you did as well, maybe worse than them, like much worse than them. And the second one is, oh, but they love you so much. Like, there is always people with narcissistic tendencies. If they don't have the narcissistic personality disorder, and I'm not very interested in this podcast with the narcissistic personality disorder, because usually those are the ones that the community calls narcissistic. So they at least give you that chance. Yes, this person is not healthy. What this person is telling you is not healthy. What this person is telling you is not the truth. So you have sometimes, not always, it's very difficult with them. Like in any case, I'm not minimizing any of that, but just want to say support is very important in this. So if you don't have the support from the others, the situation gets more difficult. And when it's hidden narcissism, which I talk mostly on this podcast about, because millions and millions and millions of people have narcissistic tendency, at least one parent who has narcissistic tendencies. And it's very, very challenging for the sensitive soul to really figure this out, like to really figure out what's really going on, what really happened, what it caused, what it's still causing, how they're still continuing, how they may be doing it differently today, but it's still influencing them as much, if not more. So I want to get back to what I was going to say. So the two excuses are they love you so much and they had a difficult childhood, so you just give up. So you're not really fully focused on creating the clarity on what's really happening. And that gets you, again, following the same patterns and not like starting to create your incredible life, which you deserve. So I'm not interested in this podcast if the person who has narcissistic tendencies towards you is a good person, a bad person. I don't care. That's not our discussion here. That's a different conversation for something else. Like, that's another topic for some other time, but I'm not going to do it here. I'm not interested in that topic. This is the stuff that I'm telling you because these are the things that tricked you your whole life. And I was thinking about it, I think it was today or yesterday, how, this excuse of they love you so much, or they are a good person at heart. For both examples, my response is what I want to tell you for you to remember. A very bad person can do very bad stuff to you. And a very good person can do very mean, bad things to you, very toxic things. And a person who loves you so much can do very toxic, mean, hurtful things to you that really F up your life, influence you in a bad, bad way. And someone who doesn't love you, who hates you, whatever, who has no love for you, can do these things as well. So that's not our discussion. So please don't get sidetracked by this. That is not the topic. The ones telling you this are usually the people that are not living up to their potential, that are not living, a heart-aligned way. They're not being courageous they're not doing it themselves. And so they're not giving you the permission to do so. Usually this is the case. It's, I don't even find it sad. It's just like reality. It's just people, usually, and not everyone, but most of the time in families, if you're going to go above, that puts them in a situation where they have to show up, like start showing up for their lives, and not to do that, they pull you down as well. Because if you do it, then you show them that there is another possibility, that there is another alternative. You don't have to suck it up and, play along with it. And you don't have to like minimize yourself and call it love. It's just, yucky. So, a very bad person and a very good person can both do bad stuff, like toxic things to you. I don't believe in bad people and good people, by the way. I'm just like saying this because this is what your community response to you have always been. And another thing, before we begin, because this is what it all comes down to. When they tell you, like, I don't believe in this, and I hear this a lot in the self-help community, which I don't believe in. This is BS, and this is very dangerous for highly sensitive, empathetic, compassionate people. Because I'm going to tell you what it is, but because the highly sensitive, compassionate, loving, empathetic person, what they lack is not understanding. And what we should not be scared of is their anger or rage. That's not what the problem is. They haven't even started feeling that anger or rage, by the way. They're just like pushing it down or ignoring it or doing something else to, numb it or whatever. What the BS is for me is for the highly sensitive, compassionate, loving souls who might have a family, a close family, a happy family, a normal family looking from outside. Like seemingly happy family, seemingly healthy family, seemingly close family, meaning no boundaries. Like they're not really truly close and sincere. There is just like no boundaries for some people in the family. Especially like if you come from the Middle East, or it can be anywhere in the world. It just depends on like, some families they tend to see each other more. They're into each other's business more, blah, blah, blah. So, no boundaries doesn't mean doesn't mean closeness. It's the opposite of closeness, actually. But I want to say the dangerous thing and the BS that I hear is that when someone talks about their parent and what they did, they are not even able to call it narcissistic tendency yet. And the person supporting them says, please remember, that's the best they could do. This is dangerous. Why? Because it depends on who you're saying it to. Because what you're telling them is not new to them. They might not be saying it in those words, but that's why they stayed for so long. That's the reason that they let these people influence their lives so much. Although they might be giving other things a lot more than other parents, maybe more than other families, whatever. But when you say this, please remember that it's the best. They did the best they could. Everyone does the best they could. A murderer does the best that he or she can. Someone really toxic that we can at least, like the society can at least accept as being toxic, like extreme. It's so extreme that society at least accepts that is toxic. Everyone does their best that they could. But not everyone shows up. Not everyone is accountable. Not everyone really pushes themselves to heal. Not everyone gives that much effort, time, their resources to make themselves better. There is like a whole difference, and not everyone is open to repair. Not everyone is open to the fact that they can make a mistake and this is human, that they don't go to shame and so they just shut the other person down and they just continue with the same thing for years and years. So I think it's just bullshit, and it's very dangerous. Like if you say they just did the best they could, because the person you're telling it to, their biggest problem is not their anger or rage. Their biggest problem might be that they are not owning to the fact what they happened to them, that they feel rage and anger for them. And it's very human for them to feel that way. And what's been done to them is not fair. And what's happening is that the narcissistic tendency person is doing it consciously, and they're not going to stop. And if they're a close family, this person is going to be influenced by them so much, and their whole life will be just taken away from them, and their energy will be stolen from them in the name of love if they just continue the same way, and no one is going to come and save them. No one is going to come and say, look, like you look like a very happy family, a close family, and it's just, it's your comfort zone. Even like your deepest pain might be your comfort zone. But I see in that dinner table that they're not really letting you speak your truth. Is it really how you're feeling? I think they're not. I think this person is like taking on the show and stealing your energy. Like nobody's going to do that. Like sadly, this is the sad part, because there is no support. There are no leaders in our communities. If there were people that are aligned with their hearts, that are following their authentic truth, they're like their own person. They're the dreamer, they're the crazy one. They are just, although it's scary, they do the scary thing. They are being courageous. They don't care if they, if they belong or not. They are just themselves. We don't see that. If we do, that's like it's very precious, because that gives you the inspiration to be yourself. That gives you I think that's like the biggest support. If we are ourselves authentically in our true expression, unapologetically, whatever. If we are that's the biggest gift we can give to others, because so many people are thirsty for that, to see that there's a possibility. Oh, so then they can say, oh, he or she is that color, so I can be this color too. They don't have to resonate with who you are, but just seeing you authentically being yourself, like heart aligned, loving, compassionate, truly themselves, creating healthy boundaries, living up to their potential, saying no with grace, and just like not even minding what others think, but just doing what's best for them as if they were treating a baby. That's like the biggest thing we can give to this world and to our loved ones and to the next generations and to our ancestors, I believe. So it's like a 25-minute intro, but this is important for me. Usually my intros are, I must do episode just on this part. But if you are listening to this podcast for the first time, or just like a few episodes in, I want to make this clear for you. So it's when it's more clear, I want to create clarity for you, because what changed my life was clarity, and it happened in a split of a second. And after a long years of hurt, challenge, swimming against the currents, and a lot of turmoil and pain. But I just realized so much in the split of a second. I created clarity for myself in a split of a second. So I want to create clarity for you here. So let's go. 13 different narcissistic behavior in family. Okay, the first one. This one can be so many different points, but the biggest main one, I guess, is the one criticizing, shaming, asking a question, commenting, and you feel some hurt, some closing of your heart, some you feel something is off, like in your body in that moment. You never feel good, like in that moment, like even if it's like something small, you just like, you might freeze, flight, fight, like any of those. But in your body, in that moment, you don't feel like the opposite is, or what if it's not a narcissistic behavior, you feel like your heart is open, your heart is expanding. But in these moments, when the person says something, they love criticizing, they love it so much. And it can be like different types of people criticizing with the excuse of thinking of your goodness. That's always their excuse, like 90% of the time. Oh, but I'm thinking of you, dear, or I'm thinking of you. This is for your good. I don't want it to happen again. Blah, 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 blah. So it puts you in fear mode all of a sudden. So whatever the topic is, and it's usually something near and dear to your heart. It can be like something big, something small, but small things are big things, so it doesn't matter. It's about you. It's about your life. It's about a decision you made. It's something you're just about to begin, or you begun. You're not asking for criticizing when you're sharing an information or when you're just hanging out with them. You're not like, you don't need that for bonding or for connection or to have family time. What you're asking, what you need is not advice. If you're asking for advice, you would be clear about it. And you might be actually clear about it. I've been there. Because they never give you the approval, when you are certain of something, and this is like the most dangerous one, when you are certain of something, to get their approval, you might want to share it because, like, for the first time, maybe you are certain of your decision, what you're about to do, what you're about to begin. You are certain, whatever it is. It can be business, a habit, I don't know, a new thing, someplace you're going to visit, some action you're going to take, some even like healthy boundary you're going to have with someone, whatever it is, like some person you're going to date or dating, or something about the way you parent your children, like whatever it is, they love criticizing, and you might fall in the trap, we follow certain patterns with the narcissistic behavior, and that's what they want. With the narcissistic behavior person, we follow certain patterns, okay? And I talk about this on a previous episode, one of them, I'm not sure which one, but the main thing about truly liberating yourself, like one of the first steps that are really essential for you to start creating your incredible life, is for you to give up on the potentiality of that relationship with this person. Meaning, one day you are not going to get that approval. One day you're not going to get that sincere understanding, empathy, compassion, believing in you, deep connection, getting what you're giving, like receiving what you're giving them, what you have been giving them, especially like emotionally, understanding, empathy, whatever. Giving up on that potentiality is a big step, and it requires different layers. And there is grief in it because you're giving up on there is always hope in you if you haven't created clarity. And in that hope, you might go and ask something, or just like sharing something at a dinner table with like other people, just like you would with any other meal, you're just like sharing something. And there is always this one comment coming from them. And it does not need to be really harsh, because they might have done the harsh way so many many, many times during your life when you were a child, a toddler, a baby, a teenager, when you were younger. So they have already programmed you. So they might do it in what I call like subtle ways, like with subtitles, sometimes a face expression, sometimes a tone of voice, sometimes the way they say something, like really seemingly simple something, a comment that makes you feel so down, so worthless, not enough, confused. You were clear about it 10 minutes ago or before you sat at that dinner table, actually, because whenever you're exposed to them, like whatever, but you were certain about it. You were great. You had a great state. That's what you need, by the way, to get anything in life. That's like the main thing. And that's what they're stealing from you. It's not the idea. It's your state is the main goal. And they do this with something really subtle. And that's why it stays hidden. That's why you don't have the guts to really understand what's happening, what they're really doing. That's why it doesn't seem that way to the other people at that dinner table who doesn't have like very high sensitivity. High sensitivity is a superpower, people. It's our superpower. Very different to what we've been told. So yeah, the first one is just like criticizing and also shaming. Shaming and criticizing is just, they love to do that. And I have decided that I'm going to do this podcast, this episode in 2 parts. So because we're going to go through 13 points, I don't want to make them short. I want to make them clear. I want to be able to give you examples because this is all there is to it. I want to really clarify things for you, whatever you're going through. So this is number 1, criticizing, shaming, commenting right at the right time. So this brings me to the second different like behavior, narcissistic behavior in family. The second example is asking a question that raises fear in you. So this question, they are great at this. Sometimes to make someone feel not confident, go back to fear, doubt themselves, have hesitation on something they can be truly certain about. It can be really subtle things. Because I always say, like subliminal stuff, like hidden things are most of the time more influential than someone saying to your face, you are dumb, you are stupid, you are incapable, you can't do this. There, of course, this works as well. But what I see happening a lot for a lot of people too, and that's why I want to talk about this, is that you are so programmed and conditioned while you were a toddler, a baby, a child, a teenager, whatever, in your earlier years. You are so programmed, and the harsher and the tougher things are done at the right time. They do exactly when to do it, to break your wing, let's say. But you can heal this. You can make this your superpower. This is like, that's my mission here, and you can do this. But because they have conditioned you so well, they have created that wound. So when you are older, it only takes a little subtle thing that touches that wound, so it triggers you back. Not even triggering. It's like the button is there. The wound which they have created in the beginning, you didn't have that at birth. They have created that already, so they know how to touch that button to activate it again so that it works. So with subtle things, it works. So this subtle, this is a subtle example, because it might seem very innocent to the logical mind if you want to go that way. And that's how they explain themselves to you. And that's their BS excuse. I just ask you a simple question. I want the best for you. Why are you so sensitive? You are always too much of something or too less of something around them. Always. That's how you feel. So whoever you are whole. And whatever you feel and however your body reacts is a natural thing. It's your gift. It's your authenticity. You need to follow it. You must follow it. You must be in touch, in contact with it. That's a gift. Your nervous system and your intuition and your body, it's telling you something. It's a gift, but you are conditioned from this parent or this family member that you are too much of something or too little of something on like different things. Even if it's not like everything, on a lot of different things. So they ask you a question where they steal your energy at the right time. And like I always say, like if you have close relationship with your family, doesn't mean that you have deep connection, just closeness. Like how much you spend time with them, how of a happy or normal, healthy family you look like from outside. So you get more exposure, you have more dinner, meals, whatever with your family, relatives, more blah, blah, blah. You don't see them twice a year, So when you're more exposed to it, there is more exposure, so more influence. But we will go through all of this stuff, like what you can do. But I want to clarify what's happening. So they are great at asking questions at a time that you need to have certainty, because certainty is how you get something that you want in life. You create that certainty when there is no certainty. This is all I learned from, like, it's really crazy. This is all I learned from amazing business mentors and coaches, and guides for me. This is all the training I get for business is 80% your state. Your state determines what you get in life. 80%. It's not the strategy, what you do, like how you get it. The strategy is only 20% or maybe even less. So it's not about the result that you get, is not about like how you get it or what kind of great business idea that you have. The state determines everything, because you always find a way when your state is high. And what does family members steal from you? That state, the certainty that you have when you decide to do something. And if you are programmed that you are not worthy, blah, 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 it might even be more difficult for you to make a decision that, okay, I'm going to go for this. It might be so huge for you. They steal from you the thing that matters the most. It's not about your tactics. It's not about your abilities. It's not about your intelligence. It's not about the strategy. These are not as important. Can you imagine? Like, you work your ass off for something, but it's not as important as your state, the energy that you are in. That's why the energy that you have, your natural energy, the authentic energy, that's why it's so essential. It's so important to protect your energy and to be in your own energy, and to now understand what happens when you are exposed to these people and the BS and the questions that you get asked whenever you make a decision or you're about to make a decision and you share that. And please don't. With any narcissistic behavior people, please do not share any of the decisions that you make about your life. It can be something small. It can be something big. It doesn't matter. There is no difference. Like, small things are big things. They lead up to the big things. You go there one step at a time. You don't like climb the whole mountain in one day. Everything is one step at a time. So the small things are actually big things. They lead you to the big things. I can only talk about this like for an hour. It's so crucial. And I'm going to make different episodes on this, like what you do And a part of it is what you share with these people, because you have the hope that they will do the thing that you would give them when they would be going on a new venture, whatever it is. That when they make a decision to make a change in their life or to take a step forward in something, what you would give them is not what you get. So we have to awaken to that. And it's not about their knowledge, their expertise, their love for you, their intentions, whatever. It's not about that. Like, it doesn't matter. If you had it before, you will get it again. So don't share. Don't fall for the same thing again. And I know it's easy to fall into it. Especially if you have a family that people call from outside, healthy, happy family. It becomes even more dangerous. And we're going to talk about the dangers of this, but let's clarify first. So they ask a question that raises a fear in you. So when you are certain about something, they ask that one stupid question that of course will bring uncertainty in you. Everyone who has ever accomplished incredible things are susceptible to this during that journey to get to where they want to go. But they raise their standards and they protect their energy, and they know who to share what with, who to give the microphone to. You have to be the guard of your mind. You have to stand at the guard of your mind, or whatever. You get the point. You have to stand at the gate of your mind. You have to guard your mind. That's all there is to it. And so what they do is they ask a question that raises that uncertainty in you. So, but you must create certainty when there is no certainty. Like, that's the road to get to something. The road to get to something is not that outside world gives you gives you certainty all the way through so you get it done, so you get to where you want to go. No, that's not how it goes. There is a lot of uncertainty around you. For whoever created whatever incredible things in this world, they had things that happened during that journey that created a lot of uncertainty. A lot. The more they got more successful in what they did. So, and the people who steal that from you, that energy, are the ones who needed it the most while they got any success in life, if they did. If they got any success in life, that was the thing, that certainty, that people believing in them, that, pumping them up while they were in that journey. They needed that the most. And narcissists are usually most of the time love attention. So that's what they got, whatever their technique was. They got it. They got it from you. You would know how to behave to them, even if you are a child. So it's not about intelligence to give that empathy to someone. You just know how to behave if someone is going to do something that takes courage to do. This is just human nature. Duh, So please, and you can differentiate a sincere mistake from a narcissistic one with two things. One, if it happened before and happening consistently, although you mentioned that, you felt fear when they asked you that question, if it happened before and if they're continuing to do the same thing, big possibility that they have high narcissistic behavior tendencies towards you, okay? Two, when you mention you're hurt, their response is you're making a big deal of it. That's a narcissistic tendency. When you tell them, when you actually asked me that question or gave me that comment or told me that, this is near and dear to my heart. This is something vulnerable. This is something that of course I might feel fear, but I don't want to. I have to go for this journey, whatever, however you told it, because maybe you weren't even aware what they were doing, but you just felt hurt. So you expressed it. Their reaction is if they're unhealthy, if they have the narcissistic tendencies, it's about your emotion. They make it about your emotion, not they don't care about their action. They're not accountable. Even if they apologize, by the way, they might apologize in a way that makes you feel so worthless, that you are like so sensitive. Oh, I got to be so careful around you, or something like this, that there is something wrong with you. This just drives me crazy. Like, this really pisses me off because the narcissist does what they fear the most, always. Because the shadow in them, which they never face, and that's why they are a narcissist, the shadow in them feels that unworthiness. And instead of owning that feeling and feeling that feeling, which takes guts, and that's why like highly sensitive people are superhumans, because they can feel it. The narcissist, instead of feeling that feeling themselves and owning it, they make you feel that feeling. So they dump it onto you, and they see the world, oh, they feel that, like I don't, they have that. So this is the way you can differentiate a healthy mistake and a narcissistic one. Because if you tell a healthy person like this, when you ask me this, blah, 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 although they might feel guilty, and which is guilt is a good feeling when it doesn't control your life, because there is guilt and then there is shame. Narcissists have a lot of shame. That's why they can never acknowledge that they are able to make mistakes, like it's being part of human. That's why they're not accountable when they make a mistake. That's why they don't automatically go for like, what, like, how did I make you feel? Like, what did I do? Please tell me. And they don't judge or, what's the word? They don't judge, or like they don't talk about your emotion in a way that they evaluate. They don't evaluate your emotion, and they don't judge that you feel that emotion. That doesn't tell anything about you, that you're too much of this or too less of this. That's the healthy response. I am so sorry that I made you feel that way. It's like I would feel the same way. I am so sorry. I will never do that again. Please tell me if I ever do, because it's your journey, and I can only imagine how much of courage it takes, or like whatever, like a very sincere way to make you feel seen and heard, and that you are only human to feel that way, and they're accountable for their actions when they're healthy people. So healthy people and a narcissistic person, their difference is not that one makes a mistake and one doesn't. We all make mistakes. We all break hearts. We all disappoint others. We all say something that might hurt the other. If you are able to say this, you are a healthy person. But if you are a narcissist, whenever someone says to you, like, when you said this, it hurt me, like, you have empathy to know that this is about their life. This is a decision that they took like, it's not about me, it's about them. So they are living that. Like 24 hours a day. Like when they go to bed, when they put their head on the pillow, they go through it, not me. I'm not carrying it. So of course I should be accountable for my actions toward this. Like for anything, but especially if it's not about me, but about the other person. So let's clarify this. Let's please differentiate what's healthy and what's narcissistic. It's not about one makes mistakes and one doesn't. It's not about that. We all will break hearts of the people that we love. I hope we do it the minimum, but what's really truly special is when you are accountable for your actions, when you are there, when you are present, when you see them, when you don't evaluate their emotions, when you can give them a hug and just feel like how much it should have hurt. You go for repair. And it actually brings you closer if you're two healthy people. I think those moments are opportunities. So this was a powerful episode. I've only gone through 2 points, but we've covered a lot on this episode. And I hope things are getting clearer for you. I hope some of you got super clear, and I hope you make the decision to be committed to yourself. That's the biggest decision you can ever make. Staying committed to yourself, making the decision, I'm going to stay committed to myself. I am going to see my emotions as my compass. When I feel like something is off about someone or something that they said or did, I will trust it. I will trust myself. That's confidence, because you trust yourself. You, for once, start trusting yourself, because if you were abused by narcissistic behavior, you were taught that you should not trust your emotions. You should not trust your intuition. You should not trust your nervous system. Well, that's total BS, bullshit. Your nervous system is given to you by the divine. It's perfect. Your nervous system tells you when there is something off. Your body always talks to you when there is some discomfort, that there is something there. There's something to look in there. You are worthy of that. Your emotions always tell you something. When you feel discomfort around someone, when you feel like you're closing down, there is something there to be looked at. And your high sensitivity, your ability to have empathy for people, especially in difficult situations, even for yourself, and your compassion and your open heart and your love is your superpower. Let's make it your superpower so that you are not pulled. What you go through is not what narcissists go through. So you don't deserve what you go through. I leave you with this today. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I am so proud of you. I don't like the word proud, but I haven't found anything that I can use instead. But I'm just proud that you are doing this for yourself. You are open to listening to this information, wisdom, and I know that you will find your way, your authentic truth. And I hope that I've given you some service, some kind of way. I will see you on the next episode where we will continue these 13 different narcissistic behavior in family. I will see you on the next one. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was, or something you found inspirational, or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.